ladies, my. Can you believe there are so many different nuances to this menopause business? Not only do you have a whole host of symptoms that turn your life upside down, you also have increased risks for a whole host of diseases. So here at Menopause University, I go through each entity as a unit, and I give you as many videos as necessary to arm you with all the information you need to succeed in managing your menopause your way. And managing your menopause your way enables you to make sure that the rest of your life goes your way. And regardless of whether you're pro this or anti that, I think that one thing is true for all of us. We're all anti-Alzheimer's. So this video will teach you about the antioxidant and anti-inflammatory foods that will help you achieve your anti-Alzheimer's goals. So if you want to learn everything about how to prevent Alzheimer's, including the things that won't work, keep watching this and all my other videos, because if you do something that doesn't work, it'll be too late when you realize it didn't work. In my book, today's material is in chapter 33 on the section entitled Diet and Lifestyle Options. I've already given you 2 videos on dietary options for preventing Alzheimer's. The first one was video 262 on the 14 factors to consider when using dietary options to prevent Alzheimer's. The second one was video 263 on calorie restriction versus intermittent fasting for preventing Alzheimer's. And this one is on using antioxidant and anti-inflammatory foods for preventing Alzheimer's. If you consult other resources on Alzheimer's, they will all mention antioxidant and anti-inflammatory foods for preventing Alzheimer's. But I'll make sure you really understand why they are the specific foods for doing so. And I'll make sure you understand their limitations too. So let's address why these 2 classes of foods can help prevent Alzheimer's. The first class is the foods that are considered antioxidants. You can say anti or anti, either one. I'm sure you've heard the word antioxidant, but I'm not sure you know what it means. So let's define it before assuming that your definition is accurate. To understand what an antioxidant is, you first have to understand what oxidation is, right? Interestingly, I hear people and find resources that talk and write about oxidation, but they usually fail to include anything about its other half. You see, oxidation is only one half of a process. Oxidation is the opposite of reduction, and they always occur together. So anytime you have oxidation, you also have reduction. I always want you to understand things fully, so let's define both of them. In your body, you have reactions that are called oxidation-reduction reactions, and they involve moving electrons. An oxidation-reduction reaction is when an electron is moved from one molecule to the other. The one that loses the electron becomes oxidized. The one that gains the electron is reduced. So oxidation is the loss of an electron. Anti or anti is a prefix that means opposed to or against. So an antioxidant is something that prevents loss of electrons. Okay, so far you have a process in which a molecule loses an electron, causing it to oxidize. Well, when a molecule loses an electron, it also loses its identity. It becomes a free radical. A free radical is simply a molecule that is missing an electron. But the missing electron makes it unstable. It's like being without your partner. So oxidation is not a good thing. So what does the molecule do? It steals the electron from another molecule. But that makes the other molecule unstable. And this occurs like a domino reaction, always leaving one molecule unstable. A good analogy would be a room full of people dancing as couples with one person absent a partner. If that person absent a partner steals someone else's dance partner, there's a new person who is absent a partner. And the person absent a partner is the free radical. It makes sense in the sense that a free radical is a free, solo, or uncoupled dancer. And if this happens over and over again, there is always one person without a partner. So ultimately, the goal of an antioxidant is to inhibit the formation of free radicals. Its job is to make sure that each person has a dance partner at all times. Why? Because a person without a dance partner creates chaos for everyone else. And the same is true for free radicals. Free radicals cause damage to your brain and body. And the way they do that is through something called oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is a state of instability. With our dance analogy, oxidative stress would be the ruining of the choreography by the one person who is absent a partner. The whole dance would be botched. In your body, oxidative stress is what we all associate with aging. And we all want to neutralize the effects of aging, right? Well, your own body can neutralize a free radical. It does so by producing enzymes that are antioxidants. And enzymatic antioxidants are a very efficient first line of defense against oxidative stress. So this would be like having dancers that are available to fill in as partners whenever someone needed one on the dance floor. And that would prevent the chaos and ruining of the choreography that results from an absent partner on a dance floor. But your body's efficiency at producing these enzymes changes as you age. The younger you are, the more efficient your body is at neutralizing an unstable molecule that is missing an electron by producing an enzymatic antioxidant. And the older you are, the more inefficient your body is at doing so. So this would be like having more dancers available to fill in for the young dancers than for the old dancers. But what we care about is the effect of free radicals on your brain. For your brain, these free radicals are very damaging. It's as if the free radicals injure brain cells, leaving them dented, deformed, and less functional. So imagine a person without a dance partner running around the dance floor, hitting and kicking all the other dancers, injuring them. Sounds radical, but that's the point. So these built-in enzymes are the first defense against the chaos caused by free radicals. Foods are the second source of antioxidants. The idea behind foods that contain antioxidants is that they can prevent the damage caused by oxidative stress. So in keeping with our dance analogy, another way to avoid the chaos of having a person without a partner on the dance floor would be to send that person to another room to go eat some food. And food, rather than the fill-in dancers, would solve the imbalance. The problem is that no one knows for sure if foods that are antioxidants can actually reduce the damage. And there isn't complete agreement among scientists as to which foods are antioxidants and which are not. The reason for this uncertainty is that antioxidants may act directly or indirectly. And any substance that can detoxify a free radical is sometimes incorrectly labeled as an antioxidant. Another limitation for antioxidant foods is that just because a food can inhibit the formation of free radicals does not mean that it will. So this would be like telling the partnerless dance partner to go to another room to eat in order to balance the dance floor. But that partnerless person could refuse to leave, or could leave for a minute and come right back. In other words, the behavior of that partnerless person could be unpredictable in a way that does not solve the dance floor imbalance. So if you choose to use food sources as antioxidants, understand that they do have their limitations. They are not magic, but they certainly can't hurt you. And they do constitute some of the healthiest foods of all. So, should you wish to use an antioxidant food or antioxidant foods as management options, they include foods in all the following categories: herbs and spices, fruits, and vegetables. And now I'll tell you the specific items in each of those categories. The herbs and spices with the highest content of antioxidants are saffron, turmeric, oregano, marjoram, cinnamon, cloves, green tea, and white tea. Others include caraway, curry, basil or basil, parsley, mint, rosemary, sage, and thyme. Of course, these are the herbs and spices you might have in your kitchen. I'll give you an entirely separate video on the herbs you use as supplements, and that will be weeks from now. The fruits with the highest content of antioxidants are berries, specifically blueberries, blackberries, and strawberries. As a side, guess how much a handful of berries a day can slow down the aging of your brain. I love trivia like this, especially when knowing such a tiny little fact can make such a tremendous difference. Well, a handful of berries a day can slow down the aging process of your brain by more than 2 years. Another class of fruits that can help prevent Alzheimer's is polyphenols. Polyphenols are plant-based foods that contain antioxidants, and the long list of polyphenols includes grapes, apples, pears, cherries, black currants, plums, pomegranate, peaches, apricots, and nectarines. In general, antioxidant fruits are all very brightly colored. Haven't you ever noticed that the healthiest foods are the brightest and the prettiest? Moving on to vegetables, you'll find antioxidants in chicory, artichokes, red onions, spinach, asparagus, broccoli, and carrots. And in the category of legumes, you have soybeans and all the things that are made from them, like soy milk and tempeh, beans, especially black beans, and white beans. There are even grains that contain antioxidants. They include oats, rye, and whole wheat. And finally, you have the category of nuts and fats. The nuts with the highest antioxidant content are hazelnuts and pecans, followed by almonds. And the highest antioxidant fat is olive oil. And to make you very happy, you should know that dark chocolate and red wine also contain high quantities of antioxidants. Gosh, there are enough different kinds of foods with antioxidants that they could constitute your entire dietary intake. So now you see how easy it is to contribute to a reduced risk of Alzheimer's just by eating this vast array of antioxidant foods. So that does it for the antioxidant foods. Now let's address the anti-inflammatory foods. Why in the world do you suspect that foods that are anti-inflammatory have anything at all to do with Alzheimer's disease? I mean, if we were talking about arthritis or any other disease that you commonly associate with inflammation, you'd expect anti-inflammatory foods to help prevent it. But here we are discussing a disease that involves poor communication between neurons, and yet foods that have an anti-inflammatory effect are beneficial. Can you connect the dots on this? I'll give you a hint. It has to do with the risk factors for a disease we've already covered in another unit. Ah, you're getting it. It's all because the risk factors for heart attack are also the risk factors for Alzheimer's. The heart attack unit encompassed videos 160 through 185, and videos 169, 170, and 171 were specific to your dietary options for preventing a heart attack. Each one focused on one food category with regard to lowering your risk of heart attack. Video 169 was all about fat. Video 170 was all about fiber. And video 171 was all about sugar. All three are pertinent to your brain, too. And every everything I taught you in those videos will help you prevent Alzheimer's too. You see, this is why I tell you over and over again how critical it is to watch my videos in order. And even though I'm discussing all so-called anti-inflammatory foods here as a group, I will discuss protein, fat, and carbohydrates separately in the next video. But the underlying theme to all foods that have an anti-inflammatory effect on your body comes full circle with the notion of stress. In other words, both heart attack and Alzheimer's are caused by buildup of some kind of fatty plaque, and that buildup limits flow of blood and oxygen to your brain and your heart. Your body perceives that as stress, and one of the ways your body responds to stress is with inflammation. So inflammation is an indication that your body is dealing with stress. And what's the kind of stress we addressed at the beginning of this video? Oxidative stress. Remember video 261 on preventing Alzheimer's by managing stress, sleep, social interaction, and sobriety? In it, I told you that to your body, stress is stress. Your body doesn't really care whether the stress is due to one thing or another, and neither does your brain. Regardless of the source of the stress, your body responds by secreting stress hormones. And it also responds to anything that helps decrease the stress. So the anti-inflammatory diet is one of those things. Anti-inflammatory foods contain natural chemical substances that have an anti-inflammatory effect on your body. And the foods that qualify as anti-inflammatory are not new to you at all. They're the foods you've labeled good for you for years. They include fatty fish, green leafy vegetables, fruits and berries, nuts, and olive oil. You may have heard people refer to the Mediterranean diet. Well, that's what these foods are. Now, there are always exceptions to just about everything. And while vegetables are generally anti-inflammatory, there are a few that are actually not. There are few that cause inflammation. They include tomatoes, red peppers, pickles, and eggplant. So while these foods are nutritious and beneficial in other ways, they do cause inflammation, even though they're a part of the Mediterranean diet. Other foods that are more understandably inflammatory are sugar, white flour and other refined grains, all trans fats, alcohol, and meat. There's a whole lot of overlap in the foods that are antioxidants and those that are anti-inflammatory. I just don't like the way most people lump them all together without explaining the differences in why they benefit your brain. Here are the antioxidant and anti-inflammatory foods on our brain buildup and brain breakdown chart showing where they exert their beneficial effects. They act primarily to encourage growth of new neurons, and that leads to all the subsequent steps. So the summary for today is that antioxidant and anti-inflammatory foods serve to prevent Alzheimer's by reducing your body's stress reaction. And they consist of all the healthy fats, fruits, veggies, nuts, and grains that you know you should eat. Next week, I'll delve into this a bit more, but from a different perspective. I'll talk about using the 3 food groups to prevent Alzheimer's: protein, carbohydrates, and fats. I think these different perspectives are so useful for understanding the individual role that each management option plays in preventing Alzheimer's. So I'll leave you now and see you then. Please schedule a consultation at menopausetailor.me. You'll be so glad you did. Regardless of your situation, you will be much better off with the toolkit of information you can get only from a consultation. And don't forget to subscribe right here at Menopause Tailor. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram too. Bye!